Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun,
So another notable upset we had was Quang and CJ upset the Johns brothers 1-6. Did you watch any of that match?
I watched a little bit of the highlights afterwards. I only got to see the second game live, so I didn't see the first. But yeah, I mean, if there's anybody that, you know, represents new age pickleball, it's Quang Dong, right? Like, the guy is just ripping balls any part of the court. No ball is a bad ball to attack if you're him. He's doing crazy stuff, taking, you know, fifths 2 feet from the baseline and driving them 100 miles an hour cross court at the guy's chest. And it's fun to watch, at least for me. I don't know. I played a tournament with him. We had a good win in our first round over Martin and Danny, and then we played Dylan and J-Dub really close. And it was our first time playing together, and it was just insane to watch some of the stuff that he's doing. Yes, off the third and the serve, we all know that, but like in transition, to me, is where he's most fascinating, because he just attacks everything. And then CJ, I was talking to his dad last night, actually. I just think he's, for me, probably the most underrated in all of pickleball right now.
For
like,
sure.
He's nuts. He can take almost every ball out of the air at the kitchen line. He makes really, really good decisions when he's in those kitchen patterns. And I feel like he goes on runs sometimes where he just doesn't miss for like 15 minutes in a row or something. I watched his... so I was watching Augie. Augie and I are good friends. They were playing the...
Was that the one against him and Jack?
Yeah.
At the end of that match? The one that went like 34, 32 or something
J-Dub
like
and
that?
Augie absolutely played great. Don't get me wrong. But like, CJ was the best player on that court.
CJ didn't... I think I tuned into that at like most of the way through regulation. I feel like... I forgot exactly what the score was, but at like...
I think it was like 36-34.
Well, so 36-34, but I tuned in like, you know, when they were at around 18 or something, right? Like before 25, I tune in. I don't think CJ made an unforced error or hardly even an error in the entire time that I was watching. That seems all right, of those rallies.
I made a comment where I was like, I don't think CJ has missed a single ball for 15 minutes. It doesn't matter, like anything he touched went in. Counter, speed up, whatever he was doing was working. And I mean, Augie and J-Dub, like I said, played really, really well to win that, because it wasn't like CJ just hit like a ball or two and then they went to Jack for 10 balls in a row. Like, they were moving the ball around. CJ had to hit 1 million balls to stay in those rallies.
It was probably a good 70% to Jack, though. At least 2/3, I would guess.
But those
like
rallies,
they're targeting Jack.
They were for sure targeting him, but those rallies were 50, 60 ball rallies, you know.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
He still ended up hitting
rallies.
1 million shots in that time span. So yeah, he's crazy underrated. Still at what, like you said, 1-6.
That's wild.
That doesn't happen, you know. They played.
I mean, I think Ben and Colin were very flat in game one.
Yeah,
they looked candidly, they looked awful in game one, and but CJ and Quang also played very, very well and very aggressive pickleball. And Ben and Colin stepped it up a little bit, but in game two to 11-6. But yeah, man, they're just playing some serious modern pickleball. Yeah, and I think CJ is super underrated. It'll be interesting to see what that New York Hustlers team does. Right? Imagine, I mean, Jackie Kawamoto's playing very, very well.
Yeah.
I think Leah Jansen has really improved her doubles game this year. I've been very impressed with the way that she's been playing the right side.
Yeah.
She's like not missing from the right side anymore.
She's like cup dinking, like similar to a lot of guys are on the right. And like you said, very, very consistent with that motion. Yeah, I don't know. You can only pick 3, right?
Yeah. And then, you know, obviously they had Jack who was the majority of their budget.
Yeah.
Right. So if Jack had panned out as a 6th overall pick, you know, and the people that are around, I mean, he was picked before J-Dub. He was picked before, I believe, Christian.
He was. I think he was
like,
the pick before.
Yeah, like it's kind of scary to think of what the Hustlers could have been if Jack continued to grow the way that I'm assuming they expected him to, or if instead of Jack they had I mean, you mentioned like Christian and CJ or whomever. Like, CJ is so impressive because he's one of those guys that he played a little bit of tennis, but he's one of those young players that just on this like slow, gradual, never-ending increase, right? Like Hayden or Wyatt to a much lesser extent. Wyatt, we played with Wyatt this morning, so we like to talk crap about Wyatt. Gabe is a perfect example.
Yeah.
I wrote an article in like 2021 of players to watch out for in 2021. Gabe was on the list.
Was that when he made his first MLP team?
2022, I think he made his first MLP team.
Okay, yeah. I watched that first event. That was, I think he subbed for Rob Nunnery or something. I can't remember the team that it was. It was like with Eric Lang and Simone and Lena, but I can't remember what team that was at the time.
I think that was the Shock then. Eric Lang, Simone. Actually, I don't know.
I can't remember, but actually that might have.
I don't know if Simone was on
the fives. That might have been the fives.
Was Simone on the fives?
I think. I'm not for sure, but
yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, that was the first time I saw him play, and I was like, this kid's crazy wristy, goes for anything, doesn't care, and I think that was back, still 2022. I feel like you were playing like conservative, like wait for your partner to set you up for something, higher if you're playing on the right, and that was sort of the first taste of like, okay, there are no rules in pickleball, and yeah, obviously now he's like just electric, like can do anything with the ball he wants to.
He's my favorite men's pro player to watch.
Yeah,
I think you just never really know what's coming out of Gabe.
He's my I would say he's my favorite to watch in mixed, because he is
so chaotic.
Anything, he can do absolutely anything. Yeah, I don't know. He's just crazy. There was that one highlight that he had in Vegas where he hit like some stupid like no look roll fading away, then ran over Bert into a 360 landing, and then like is like getting hyped up by his bench, and he's just like acting like nothing happened. I was like, what is this guy on? He's crazy. I've got a running joke with him where I'm like, I can't remember where it happened, but somebody was like, oh, who you're playing with? To him, they were asking like, who you're playing with this tournament, and I was like, oh, Gabe's gonna play with me in 2028. Who cares about the next one? And then so he always like jokes with me like, 2028 partner. 2028.
Bro, lock him up. Lock him up for 28.
Gabe Tardio and I, 2028. You heard it.
Tardio, Loyd, 2028. I'd vote for you guys.
What a campaign we'd run.
If you're like me, you might feel your body is slowing down, not bouncing back like it used to. I learned recently that could be attributed to your mitochondria slowing down. And that's where MitoPure comes in, which is a product by Timeline. It's backed by more than 15 years of dedicated scientific research. MitoPure is clinically proven to help clear out the old, worn-out mitochondria, the energy centers of your body, to give you the reboot you need from the inside out. Timeline is offering 10% off your first order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/thedink, all caps DINK, timeline.com/thedink. And you'll get 10% off your first order, and you can, renew that mitochondria at the powerhouse of the cell. That's from a movie. I don't remember what it is, or maybe a show or something like that. Go get yourself some Timeline.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun, yeah.